You've seen them everywhere. The influencers on Instagram submerging themselves in ice cold water at 5 a.m. The TikTok biohackers taking 47 different supplements before breakfast. The fitness gurus swearing that if you're not doing HIIT 6 days a week, you're basically aging faster than you should be. And maybe you've tried some of it, maybe you're doing some of it right now. The cold plunges, the intermittent fasting, the stacks of supplements lining your kitchen counter, the morning routine that takes 2 hours just to get through. But here's the question, are you actually getting healthier or are you just exhausted? What if I told you that some of the most popular longevity hacks out there might actually be working against you? Welcome back to the Dr. Terri Show. I'm Dr. Terri Denai, and I am going to continue our year-end replay series. The episodes that sparked the biggest conversations, the ones that challenged everything you thought you knew, the conversations that made you rethink your entire approach to health. And as we head into a new year, when everyone's making resolutions to committing to new health protocols, I knew we had to bring this episode back. I'll be completely honest with you, I've been that person. Boxing, HIIT, training, strength training, restrictive eating, intermittent fasting, taking loads of supplements. I was doing all the things. And I looked at my body one day and thought, wait, why am I not seeing results? Why do I look and feel more inflamed, and why am I so tired? Dr. LaValle kept telling me, Terri, you're overtraining, and I thought he was crazy. How can you overtrain? Isn't more always better? Well, it turns out I was completely wrong. 3 months ago, I made a radical change. I cut way back. I started doing Pilates 3 days a week with some strength training. I stopped taking 50 supplements and narrowed it down to just a few key ones. I stopped forcing myself to fast when my body was hungry. I started eating at 10:30 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. because that's what worked for my body. And everything changed. My body finally responded. The inflammation went down, I felt better, and I looked better. All because I stopped doing too much. In this conversation, Dr. Jim LaValle and I tackle the top 10 longevity fads that are dominating social media right now. Cold plunges, supplement stacks, extreme fasting protocols, intense training regimens, red light therapy, biohacking gadgets, all of it. Here's why this conversation matters. Dr. Jim isn't some internet wellness guru. He's a naturopathic doctor, a pharmacist, and a theologian who just turned 65 and is still incredibly fit. He's developed the Metabolic Code platform. He wrote the book, Your Blood Never Lies. He's been studying longevity optimization for decades. And he's watched the wellness industry explode with trends that promise everything but deliver nothing but confusion. Look, I get it. You want to live longer. You want to feel better. You want to optimize. I'm the same way. That's why I was taking 50 supplements and training like an Olympian. But what if the path to longevity isn't about doing more? What if it's actually about doing less, but doing the right things? What if the secret to living longer is actually joy and purpose, managing your stress, moving your body in ways that feel good, eating food you love that also love you back? This episode is for anyone who's overwhelmed by all the longevity advice out there, for anyone who's tried everything and is exhausted, for anyone that wants to biohack their way to a longer life but doesn't know where to start or how to know what's actually worth doing. Whether you're deep in the biohacking world or you're just trying to figure out if you should be taking that supplement you saw on Instagram, this conversation will give you clarity. It's time to stop doing all the things and start doing the right things. Here's my conversation with Dr. Jim LaValle on the top 10 longevity fads and what actually works. Dr. LaValle's back in the house. I'm so excited about this conversation for so many reasons, because you're so excited, it's infectious.
Yeah.
So this is something you and I have talked a little bit about for a while, but it took me about 3 years to take your advice. I'm a slow.
And you know what?
I'm a laggard.
That's pretty good, actually. I have some people it takes a lot longer.
So you've been telling me when I got, I hit 50 something and really got into about 5 years ago, I really leveled up my fitness conversation.
Right.
I had spent years in perimenopause, and then I had 2 foot surgeries, and I got out of any kind of fitness routine that was, worthy. And then, when all that got worked out, I hit it hard, and I was boxing, and I was HIIT, and I was lifting, and I was like, I leaned out, I was like, oh, this is great. And then I started seeing my body shifting again, and I was talking to you about it, and you're like, you're overtraining. And I was like, that's an oxymoron, surely. And you kind of went into this whole conversation about as we get older, we can overtrain, it keeps us more inflamed. Well, about 3 months ago,
all right,
I was like, you know what? I'm gonna change it up a little bit.
Right.
So I started doing Pilates privates.
Sure.
3 days a week.
Great exercise.
And then incorporating it with strength training. Holy cow, everything svelted out.
You look great, by the way. I mean, we haven't got to...
we haven't talked about it in a while.
Passing ships, but we really haven't got to talk.
That's all I've changed.
Well, it's interesting. I was doing some recording yesterday all about overtraining, and it used to be the population of like Olympians or professional athletes, but now what happens is because all that culture has trickled down
permeated
to us common folk. I used to.
You're not a common folk. You're like a Spartan. What are you talking about?
Yeah, pretty much. But even for me, I really watch how much I train now. And I think it's something that everybody should know. I'm an avid. I absolutely believe everybody should exercise. It's just what's right for you and at what stage in life. And I'm glad you finally took my advice.
Oh my gosh. I can't tell you how much.
Is there anything else that I said that you might start listening to? I'm not quite sure yet.
Well, I want to talk about a lot of them because a lot of the things that are on our top 10 longevity fads or hacks we need to talk about. I've kind of brought it way down to just simple and stop starving myself all the time and forget this intermittent fasting stuff. Eat when you're hungry, stop when you're full. I've always been my whole life, my feed times, if I had it all my way and didn't have family and husband and people to feed, I would eat at 10:30 and 4:30. And so I kind of started doing that. And sorry, Dan, but I just I'll cook you dinner still, but if you're not getting home till 7, I'm going to eat at 4:30, or 5 at the latest. So I just started doing things that made sense to my body intuitively. And I quit taking 50 supplements and I just kind of narrowed it down to a few. So, and I feel a lot better. It's almost like when I was overdoing it, my body was confused and things were just kind of going haywire because, we take a supplement and we don't really know, should I take glutathione or NAD or this or that?
Or all of it.
All of it. So anyway, it's going to be a great conversation because there's a lot of people that are like me in this. And I see them in the gym all the time. I have seen the same person persons at the gym for the last 5 years. They're every day. They look no different than 5 years ago. What is happening?
Yeah, if they look great, that's great, but I don't think that's the case.
That's not what I'm talking about.
So I think first of all, it's not about how much you do. Is what are you doing that really is helping your body? And I love that you are listening to your body because I think that's real important. That's something I've actually done for a pretty long time now, and I think it's made a big difference. Now that I've crossed the threshold of being a 65-year-old, I'm pretty darn fit still.
Yeah, that's right.
And I think a lot of it has to do with what do I need to do for my health, and you should embrace what you need to do for your health.
Right.
And then there's, oh my God, I'm getting all this information and I've got this expert telling me I need to do this, and the other one I need to do that.
The TikTok experts.
Then before you know it, your whole day is filled with trying to do something for your health, your life or health, but you're not really living a healthy life.
You're so obsessed with it, you're like stressed about
yeah,
it.
and you're not getting to enjoy your life, which in the end, it's enjoyment. And so I think, one of the reasons I developed the Metabolic Code platform, it was to like, what do you really need?
Yeah.
What do you need?
Yep.
What's going to move you forward? And then do labs to show that you're moving forward and track symptoms to show that you're moving forward so that you actually can start to have a roadmap for yourself. Right. And I think, look, whether you look at that or use another method, I don't really care. Right. I just think that people need to do exactly what you said. Take what you need.
Well, we've overcomplicated it, I think.
Just a little bit.
So, yeah.
Just a little bit. I couldn't agree with you more. And it's actually been I don't know, it's something I'm really talking about a lot lately because I see people overdoing, even like I teach a lot of practitioners, as you know, and, at A4M and International Peptide Society. And I'm always trying to pull them back. Like, look, you don't have to give them 20 things. Right. Pick the right. If somebody's really in trouble, the right 10. If they're not in a lot of trouble, hey, the right 5. But you also have to pair it with, well, are they exercising? What's their diet like? Are they eating in a healthy way? Right. Are they getting adequate sleep? I mean, there's all those basic foundation things. Everybody kind of goes, oh, yeah, right. Yeah. But they're pretty important. And now we've got people being obsessed with, all their data. Yeah. Right. To the point where then they get freaked out about their data.
Yeah. And they quit looking at their data.
Quit looking at their data. And so anyway, I'm excited about us talking about these longevity fads because I think there's something good about all of them. It's just how do you place what you need to do.
Well, and it's so confusing too. What are your goals? And I think too, because of just over the last year, especially with all this focus on health and MAHA and all this stuff, clinicians are more interested. As our trainings that we lecture at, whether it's A4M or Avexius or doesn't matter, are getting bigger and bigger and bigger because clinicians are wanting to know, all right, patients are asking me these things. I don't know how to answer them. And so, this is a new conversation for everybody, but I think there's a lot of people out there and listening even that are overwhelmed with the information that they get online. So let's start with the number one right now. According to AI, the number one longevity fad is NAD, NMN. Let's talk about that. Let's break it down for people because I think there's a lot of confusion about it.
Well, why are people reaching for NAD and NMN? First
Good question.
Why? Energy, right? There's an amazing amount of people out there that are complaining of fatigue. And look, that story hasn't changed. Yeah. I mean, that's been the same complaint since I can ever remember.
Since I've been in this space 20 years.
Yeah, same, right? Yeah. Since, 1984, people have been at it, right? But the thing is, so it's all based on our mitochondria, right? The mitochondria, the powerhouse of your cells. It's how you make energy. And we need NAD to kind of generate mitochondrial energy. But the big problem that there is one, well, first of all, if you take NMN orally, it has to be converted to nicotinamide riboside anyway, to then be reconverted inside your cell to NMN to be used. So it isn't like you take NMN and it goes right to NMN.
Right, because there's no receptor on the cell for that.
No. And so I think the first step is that there's some great studies on NR, and there's some, I think, great applications of NAD injection. I think that people do need mitochondrial help. You got COVID long haulers that obviously have, mitochondropathies.
Oh, that's a big word.
Yeah, their mitochondria is ragged and they don't have enough of them because here's the reality. When people have insulin resistance or they're pre-diabetic or they're under a lot of stress and their thyroid starts to, kind of wane, you don't have as many mitochondria in your cells. That's why you're tired.
Right.
So my first step on talking to people about NAD and NMN is, well, why is it low to begin with? And why don't you try fixing that?
The root cause.
Yeah, get to the reason. And then utilize things like NAD cyclically to kind of give you a boost, help refuel the powerhouses.
You just said something so important I can't let it just gloss over. This is, I think, the paradigm shift that humanity, but especially Americans, need to move away from is, what can I take for the quick fix for my symptom, instead of looking at why is the symptom here and how can I fix that?
Right.
Because as you know, even every medication, pretty much the majority, 90+% of the medications that we prescribe were meant to be a temporary stopgap solution while you figure out the root cause of the problem. Cholesterol medicines, anxiety medicines, antidepressants, ADD meds, which don't get me started on that. These were never meant to be the fix, and I don't think NAD is the fix. To your point, it could help, but could it also harm?
Well, no, I think that it's interesting because I was talking to some mitochondrial scientists actually yesterday that are testing, literally testing the mitochondria, not surrogate tests, literally getting a window into the soul of the powerhouse of the cell.
That's cool.
And what they're finding is that people that are, biohacking hardcore, like really pushing your body hard all the time, they actually don't have great mitochondrial scores. And that makes sense to me because our body's supposed to be in homeostasis, right? It's supposed to be in a balance.
Right.
And just like running your car at 100 miles an hour all the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, things break down. Your cell's going to be the same way. You have to have a repair process.
Right.
You have mitochondrial renewal. And so, I think that, people that just use it without any professional guidance, don't do it cyclically, don't understand the why, because, typically most people have root causes, right? They got multiple things, and you got to order what you're going to work on. But, I think oral NAD supplements, like, there's, precursors and all that. I mean, there's some studies that show that they may get a little bit of bump on it. But once again, why are you doing it? If you're fatigued, try to understand why you're fatigued, because you may be missing something.
Right. Yeah.
Big.
Yeah. Hormones, thyroid, gut. I mean.
Yeah. All that.
Well, that's the other thing I see too is we want our cake and eat it too, right? We want the energy. We want all the things.
What? We're not allowed?
No. I mean, I see this all the time. Like, because I work out every day, I can go ahead and eat ice cream every night, or,
such big
eat
fallacies.
Crap food, or I'm taking all my supplements and I work out. So, and this is why I think I see a lot of people, at the gym. I see, guys all the time. They're really fit upper body, but they've got so much visceral fat and they're so inflamed.
Still insulin resistant. I see this a lot, and people come in and they're taking lists and lists of supplements, all kinds of advanced things that we're going to talk about, things like spermidine. Fisetin and all these cool things, which are cool, good research, interesting, but they're not really being told some honest things about, well, look where your chemistry's at, man.
Right.
You still have a 94 glucose. Your cortisol is elevated. Your kidney function is down.
But a 94 glucose is normal.
Hey, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And that's my
normal for the drug makers.
Yeah, that's my biggest concern overall is that we aren't embedding in people. You need to change core, big chemistry shifts in your body that's accelerating your aging, called inflamed aging, right? That's that's the hill that I'll die on, right? Metaflammation leads to inflamed aging. Been, lecturing on it for a decade now, and wrote about it 20 years ago. So I just think that, we're running a marketing economy, right? We want to find a new thing that we can push out into and sell. But there's still foundational aspects of your health that you can't avoid. Right. And you can use nutrients, and you can use peptides, and you can use bioidentical hormones, and you can use lifestyle changes. But you want to do it with a purpose and focus. And what am I going to change?
Yeah.
So NAD, the whole craze of mitochondrial catalysts, MOTS-C, SS31, right?
Yep.
Humanin. I can name a whole bunch of this stuff, right? But it's important to understand just what you said. Why are you feeling tired?
Yeah.
What's the reason? Let's get behind that.
Yep.
And you may need NAD, and sub-Q injections may be great. You can administer them yourself. That's great. Some people are, of course, doing NAD.
And there's a lot of clinicians, that are doing, and a lot of these IV places that are doing it that kind of make me cringe because, again, it's very trendy, it's faddish, but if you don't know what you're doing, you already mentioned cycling is important if you're doing non-oral NAD, probably even oral NAD, and just little things like that.
Even oral, I do believe that.
And so many clinicians don't even understand that. And it's just like, yes, come get your IV NAD. And then, the patients are having chest pain and they can't, getting anxious. And these drugs aren't without their
even
problems.
To your point, even the sub-Q injections, I always tell people to start really low on their dose because there are people that, they
feels like you're having a heart attack. Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's that thought.
So NAD, good. The moral to the NAD story is try to figure out why you're doing it and work with a clinician or someone that really understands NAD and how to prescribe it. And a good quality NAD. You're not going to get that on Amazon, I would imagine.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure about that one.
Can't speak to that.
Yeah. Not sure about that one. Yeah, exactly. Just like it's basically the mitochondrial question, which everybody's talking about the mitochondria now.
Which I'm assuming maybe cold plunges and cryotherapy might have something to do with that too. So that's real trendy. And I know I can't do it. I mean, cryotherapy for 3 minutes, cool. Yes, I've done that before. And, you have a sense of euphoria afterwards, but I feel like it's probably because you were near death and you, kind of came out of it. So we'll talk about that trend.
I think it's, what we end up doing is, whatever is good for you, we
take
then
it to
overdo.
an extreme. Yeah. Yes.
And, if you think about, when you see people doing cold plunges in like Norway, it's like a ritual that they do in the winter. They're not doing it all the time.
That's a good point.
They're not jumping in the lake every day. And it's interesting. I think cold plunges probably have value. I think there's some good data on it. I think we know that if you cold plunge right after you exercise, it actually limits muscle growth. So you need to neutralize that. Turns out, talking to a group that's actually doing work with NASA, they're doing blood flow restriction. And if you combine blood flow restriction, which is kind of, one of those things where you wear they actually have a pretty cool thing where you put on a shirt, put on a vest and put on your shorts.
It
and they have
down.
Automatic that's already pre-calculated and validated for the right pressure, right? So the different levels. So it's pretty cool, pretty new technology. I'm always looking at the new stuff. And that can neutralize that. But I think there's some like negative, documentation and press coming out about the fact that, hey, maybe you shouldn't be doing this every day.
Yeah.
And
I would think it would add some stress to your body.
Well, basically you're probably telling your body, you're dying every day. I mean, I once again, I'm not a critic of cold plunge. I think when applied correctly and intermittently.
And for the reason, why are you doing it?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it definitely helps them with repair. Mm-hmm. It definitely helps get soreness out. It can help in terms of parasympathetic tone if it's not overdone. So there's some good things about it. But once again, I think that the biggest thing that happens is, anything worth doing is worth overdoing.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing like overtraining. It's no different. And so I think use with caution. People that have circulatory issues probably have to watch it. I know for me, with Raynaud's.
Yeah.
It's kind of contraindicated for people that have Raynaud's. You really shouldn't be doing cold plunges.
So bottom line on cold plunges, why are you doing it? Are you doing it because you're sore? You're trying to, get that inflammation down a little bit.
Right.
So the why behind it, cold plunge or cryotherapy.
Right.
And then how often? Because, even I remember working with a doctor who had cryotherapy and they were trying to bring it into some of the pro ball places, but training camps. But the whole point was, when are we doing this? Is it at the end of a week of a lot of hard training? That makes sense, but maybe not every day.
Right. Personally, I think, you're doing it a couple times a week if you're training hard.
If you're training hard, right.
Yeah, probably a couple times a week is probably going to help you.
But cryotherapy is probably not going to shrink those fat cells like they kind of advertise. I don't know. Can that happen?
I haven't seen anything.
I haven't seen any good data around that one.
And then you worry about all that kind of stuff, like the old, cold application for fat cells is, kills stem cells. So,
Yeah. So why?
You kind of don't want to do that.
So on the other end of that spectrum, what about infrared saunas? And I do love infrared saunas.
I think infrared saunas are amazing.
Yeah.
I also think that steam saunas are amazing because you can kind of accomplish, in terms of heart health, you can accomplish similar things because with the increase in humidity, you get that flux in your heart rate. And so I think steam can be good. I love infrared because of warming up your fat cells, getting rid of toxicity.
Yeah, that's the main thing.
I think it's good. I really like it. And red light therapy, I think it's great on a lot of levels. One, it seems to really help with pain modulation. The other one is for, when people are losing weight, really helps to tighten up the skin and improve collagen synthesis. I'm a fan.
And that's one I think you could probably do that pretty frequently. I don't think that's like a... Yeah,
I think typically it's, it's up to daily, but I mean, at the very least, 4 days a week.
I have a far infrared sauna that has light therapy in it, and it has the different colors for your chakras. It's great. But the red light one, I can tell a big difference, especially if I sit in there long enough and sweat.
Yeah, I just got a red light therapy blanket that you lay at top and bottom, and I got to say that I love the way I feel after it. And so I think that's one of those good ones. I'm super happy about it.
Okay, here's a big one. Intermittent fasting. I know you have a lot to say about this one.
Well, I mean, first
of all, it's not a bad thing.
No, it's not bad. I mean, I think intermittent fasting is basically how about controlling your appetite, which when people are under stress, they're not. So they're eating against their circadian rhythm. Eating at 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night. You really should try to not eat, within 2 hours of going to bed at the minimum. It really ends up becoming, well, how many calories do you really need? What's right for you? I know you said you're good at 10:30 and 4:30. Me, I'm more of I need to have a little something in the morning. I, have a pretty decent lunch. And if I can get my dinner in before 6 p.m., kind of how I grew up as a child, hey, you get up in the morning, you had breakfast, then you had
First
lunch,
thing.
and then dinner was 5 o'clock. And you know what? Kitchen's closed. Don't you dare walk in the kitchen after 7 because mom cleaned up the kitchen and does not want to mess in there. And so you forced intermittent fasting, I guess. I'm a big fan. Honestly, I'm a big fan of fasting mimic diet.
Yeah.
Because they've got huge amounts of data on it.
Yep.
And if you do that three times a year for 5 days, you can pretty much eat a healthy diet, and you end up coming out just as beneficial.
Right.
But I do think there's variability in what people eat and how much and how frequently. I mean, I think for a lot of people I've seen that like hold on to the 18-6.
Oh yeah.
Like 18 hours of fast, 6-hour window of eating. Many of them I end up seeing that their cortisol's up, they have more inflammatory markers. Their glucose even starts to go up because they're breaking down muscle. Just depends how efficient you are, right? And I think when you look at data, you'd probably settle in at 12 to 14 hours. And
well, what's the official why underneath intermittent fasting? Like, what's it doing for your body? I mean, I know, but just explain to everybody why, because a lot of people are doing things they don't know why they're doing it.
Right. So, I mean, basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to regulate your glucose for one, right? You're trying to decrease the continual signal of food, which then triggers the most powerful thing against your health is, postprandial swings. So like if you have a big postprandial swing, meaning your glucose goes up after you eat, that causes your cortisol to go up, and it creates a lot of inflammatory chemistry. So one of the things about intermittent fasting is trying to regulate glucose, which to me is the number one thing for people. They got to regulate the glucose, or we wouldn't have half the population reaching out to find a GLP-1 right now,
more than half probably.
Yeah,
but
it's amazing, right? So one is it's to help regulate glucose and insulin. When you regulate glucose and insulin, well, then other markers start to improve, like your lipids. Your lipid profile actually is pretty dependent on that swing on glucose and insulin.
Yep.
And then your inflammatory markers. So you think about that downstream effect is, okay, I'm improving glucose and insulin. I'm getting better, healthier lipids in my body because cholesterol's not bad.
Right.
It's just the kind
We
you make
need
it
it.
bad.
Your brain needs it.
Kind of needs it. Yeah. and then it's the inflammatory cytokines. And then it's regulation of what I call hedonic urge. You know, people that start to do that go, hey, my food noise is less.
Yeah.
So I think all those things are important. But, you know, when people say the intermittent fast, their times aren't consistent. That's important. Consistency of how you're eating is actually pretty important. They also do the, hey, I'll eat whatever I want.
Yeah.
For those 6 hours.
Some Doritos and some
big old burger with cheese.
Krispy Kremes, all those things.
Yeah, I'm just, you know, I'll cram all that in that 6 hour window. So I think it's all about really understanding, you know, are you on a 5-2 fast? Are you an every other dayer? Like, you know, some of it is 500 calories on one day if you're a woman, and then eat a normal diet on the other day. My biggest issue with it in general is I think people have dysregulated hunger signaling because of all the sympathetic dominance from being stressed out.
Stressed out all the time.
Yeah, so your dopamine's low. I mean, you know.
You're going for those dopamine hits.
Yeah, and you're on your fasting day, but somebody asks you to, you know, go to a ball game, and all of a sudden that hot dog looks really good.
With that gooey cheese food.
Yeah, I'll move my fast day to tomorrow, maybe, and then it kind of doesn't get consistent. And we talked about this. It's really consistency with diet's super important.
Well, and again, it's another thing I think people make too complicated. Just a little. Just intuitive eating. But I think to your point, you just said it. We've kind of lost that intuitive signaling, you know, because there's so much else screaming at us in our brain to feed me, no feed me, no feed me, no feed me.
I mean, alcohol, carbs, sugar,
social media, phones,
all that.
electronics.
Phones just keep me going.
Keep going,
So that's a big issue.
So intermittent fasting can be good depending on the why. And consistency is key, but we like fasting mimicking diets for sure. You know, people can get the same results, but still, you know, not.
They get to eat a little bit.
They get to eat a little bit. Some olives and some broth and some things like that.
You know, it's interesting, though. I mean, people do feel better if they do it. They feel better coming out of it, and they drop some water weight.
You're detoxed. Like, you just got rid of all the crap. And that's what I'm saying. Like, at the end of the day, and kind of the GLP-1s are cutting down on that food noise and all. You're kind of forced intermittent fasting with GLP-1s.
Right. Well, then you get into the problem of not eating enough protein.
Not eating enough protein, which we've talked about ad nauseum. All right. So moving on to.
Maybe we should say it one more time.
Get more protein. I mean, gosh, yes. It's the number one thing I see with the GLP-1s is just people, clinicians not putting people on the right program. And not having a plan to get them off. You know, we've talked about this a lot.
Right.
And muscle wasting and,
Absolutely.
Yeah. So getting enough protein, getting enough amino acids. Speaking of GLP-1s, let's talk about the other side, which was trendy for a while. Then it got un-TikTok famous, and that's metformin. We've loved metformin for a long time. I've fixed a lot of insulin resistance, PCOS, longevity problems, but I think a lot of people, as a longevity medicine, just talk about it because I know you love it, or you did. I don't know. How do you feel about it today?
Look, when people are type 2 diabetics or have PCOS, there's specific medical indications where that medication could be really valuable. I think, you know, metformin depletes B12, it depletes CoQ10. There was some evidence a long time ago that it develops ragged mitochondria, and you know, big
ragged
advocates.
Mitochondria.
Yeah, like rough edge damage, oxidative stress, like basically they're scuffed up, right? So the big books that came out over the last couple years, metformin is the anti-aging thing that everybody should take. Well, the same people that wrote that book are now like, I don't do it anymore. And I think that's, if you're new to this and you get excited about something and you want to just start talking about it, especially a medication.
Yeah.
because I'm still not sold on, hey, we should be applying medications as our first thing for longevity.
Correct. Yeah.
Like, hey, we should all be on a beta blocker to lower our heart rate. No, what about breathing deep? How about managing our stress?
Yeah.
But it's that thought of, hey, we're going to apply these drugs.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying there's not an application for them, but metformin, I mean, I've been truthfully vocal about it the last several years. That like a third of the population that use metformin, it disrupts their microbiome. And of course, the microbiome is really important for your aging. And there are people that will get muscle soreness from it because of the CoQ10 depletion. And so to your point, it breaks up insulin resistance. It helps with, conditions like PCOS. And I think it's a great drug. But then you start to apply it in people who are well.
That's the conversation I want to know about.
It's a blanket longevity cure. And I've been on stage saying that's a mistake for a long time, at least the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Because it's once again, it's that one size fit all thing that we're trying to do for people.
Well, and again, I'm going to say this with everything. Why? Why are you doing it? Why? Because I read a book that says this is a magical longevity pill.
Right.
I mean, I don't think our centenarians are taking metformin, probably.
No, I don't think they are.
Our blue zone people.
It's so interesting when you start to look at those folks because, not to digress, but it relates to metformin. When they looked at their microbiome and then their lipopolysaccharide levels, which is kind of a byproduct of your microbiome breaking down.
LPS. Talk about
like they've got really low levels against younger people in more industrial environments, right?
Makes sense.
These centenarians somehow maintain their microbiome. Not somehow. We kind of can look at it and figure out why. It's not that hard.
Moving their body, low stress, community, green tea every day.
Yeah. I mean, and you can't just say, oh, they eat one way because all the blue zone diets are different. I know Laura, my wife dietitian, did a big review on all the different, because she's doing a talk on diet for longevity at A4M. And her net conclusion was, there was no one right way to eat in all the blue zones. And I think, what we're trying to do is say, hey, even if you don't eat right and you've really, you're not there in terms of understanding why you're in the situation you are, let's force a drug that's going to create a certain pathway and, wait a second, side effects. Oh, wait a second, maybe that shouldn't be used preventatively. And so, metformin was one of my pet peeves. Love it as a drug, understand its value and role. The longevity piece, I wasn't such a big advocate for it. Just like, statin should be in the water. Oh, no, metformin should be in the water. Same old thing, right? So that's my...
But if people would drink the water and not out of plastic water bottles. Yeah. So I think is metformin taking a little bit of a back seat with the GLP-1s coming on I know they have in our clinics as far as treating.
Sure. Yeah, because the GLP-1s, you get so much more gratifying results quickly, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And I think there's more benefit to the GLP-1s. I mean, there was just that study that came out on semaglutide and, it's markers for promoting longevity. There's a great study on that.
Well, so what about the trend in I've seen this with some of our clinicians that are fit and do microdosing of GLP-1s just for the longevity piece. What do you think? Is that too soon to tell? He's taking a deep breath, everybody.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, this is a blindside question. So
yeah, I know. I threw you a curveball.
I might say something wrong here, so realize that I'm just giving you what I'm thinking. If you already have a great blood sugar and you're fit, and your insulin regulation is good, why are you messing with augmenting that?
Because it's
cool and trendy.
Because
it's protecting my brain, even though I'm not having any issues. Because it's going to keep my left ventricle from enlarging, even though it's not enlarged, or it's not even trending towards enlargement. Because my chemistry is really good and I'm actually healthy. that's the point at the beginning that I was talking about, is that sometimes we just are, and you said it as well, we're just trying to do too much.
Mm-hmm.
When something's good, embrace that it's good. Embrace that your lifestyle's good. If you have dysfunction, right?
Sure.
You have people that, look, they just, their glucagon stuck. And you need to unstick it, and they probably might need to microdose it, and they're going to be better for it. And I think that's great. We don't have a lot of data on the benefit of microdosing in terms of all those benefits of the brain, the heart, the kidneys, the pancreas. We don't really have data. Now, the data you and I look at, clinically is, well, people are getting better, they're losing weight. So we infer that that's better, right? Because there's less inflammatory signaling because you're losing visceral fat. But if you're losing muscle, that's a problem, right? So that's why I'm not a, hey, take it just because it's good for you. I mean, my God, if we did it that way, I used to do it that way a long time ago. I mean, man, I used to take a lot of stuff.
Let's try this.
Yeah, whatever. Give me it all, man. I've written 26 books on all this stuff. Why wouldn't I want it all?
You have to try it.
Yeah. I mean, but I think the issue becomes, what's good, just try to keep it good.
Yeah.
If you're struggling, figure out why. I think GLP-1s are amazing. I think they're an amazing drug category. I really do. And I think we're going to figure out natural compounds that people will be able to include in their lifestyle for people that want to keep efficient. Mm-hmm. I think we're going to have natural compounds that will help people that are just slightly starting on that journey towards glucagon dysfunction. Mm-hmm. I think that's on its way. I mean, the Nutri-Ingredient Product of the Year this year actually won because it had 2 independent trials showing that it improved GIP and GLP-1 as well as
Which one
showed
is that?
weight loss. It's a fish polypeptide.
You just sent me an email about this.
I know, right? Yeah. And I've been, so I think those kind of things that you augment into your lifestyle without being, getting too crazy, paranoid about it.
And those really could be some good, that's what we're always looking for, is what can we find that can help people transition off the GLP-1s once they get things, dialed in.
Exactly.
And then there's so many people like, no, it's the only thing in my whole life that's ever worked, so I don't want to go off of it. Okay. I mean, Yeah.
I mean, once again, it all gets back to, are you really restoring mitochondrial health? Are you really getting energy back in the cells? Are the insulin receptors really working? Because people don't realize that, your insulin receptors, they're very sensitive to inflammation. So that's why you got to root out.
Right.
Where is the inflammation in your body coming from?
Correct. So you can be on the GLP-1s all day, but when you do decide to eat, you're eating inflammatory foods, you're not really helping yourself out.
No, you're not, because you may even be losing weight, but when you go to get off, you're going to go right back.
It's going to bounce right back on. And, that's why if there's something I just always am trying to hone in with people is, you have to get to the root cause and change that. We're not going to have a cold plunge, a pill, a shot, a supplement, whatever is not going to take the place of just good common sense. Move your body.
Yeah.
Eat well. Breathe. Meditate.
I'll tell you what I do love. Like some of these things are really cool. I know we got more to talk about, but like getting up in the morning and getting sunlight in your eyes. Yeah. I absolutely love that. That's getting out to people because, I've been lecturing on the master slave clock or the suprachiasmatic nucleus of your brain, which is like the clock that controls everything. And guess what? That sunlight is what tells that part of your brain to turn on. And that's dictating how everything's going to work the rest of the day. I absolutely love that more and more people are.
That's not even trending as a top 10.
I know. That's because maybe it's too common sense.
Yeah. It's not sexy enough. What? Just go out and let
go out in your
sunlight-
underwear, or go out in your lingerie or something. I don't know. You know,
Ground with the earth. With your bare
whatever.
feet.
Go out. You know,
Look
it
at the
depends on your
sun.
neighborhood, I guess. How much privacy do you have? But honestly, I think that those are the kind of things that people, if they're not
Simple.
doing that, they're missing something really important.
Yeah. So, our next biohack are wearables.
Wearables.
You're wearing where's your Aura ring? Where's your superhuman
my
ring?
Ultrahuman ring, actually, I have to get a new charger for it. My Morpheus strap, I just found that charger. I'm doing that again.
Now, he's not crazy.
Yeah.
He's literally doing research with all these wearables for a lifetime.
I am. I mean, I'm chief science officer at Lifetime. I think when members ask about these things or the training staff asks about these things, I owe them an answer.
Yeah, a real answer.
A real answer. And the new trend is throw them away.
I gave mine to my daughter.
Yeah. So the new trend is throw them away.
I got tired of something telling me to breathe.
Well, let's start with that. You know, that's one of my big jokes, right? I mean, that's one of my big jokes that I do all the time when I'm on stage. It's like, oh, wait a second, I got to stop talking right now.
I got to breathe.
It's time to breathe. You know, but it really tells you about, I don't know, that to me was such a cultural shock.
Yeah.
That we have to have something tell us it's time to take a deep breath.
That's good information.
When you really think about that, that's why we're culturally having trouble with our health. We don't take deep breaths. Our nervous system is out of balance. We breathe shallow. That creates a lot of problems. So I actually think that I don't worry about listening on telling me when to breathe. I'm more concerned about, is it telling me something about I'm stressed out and maybe I should stop for a moment.
Yeah,
and
take some deep breaths.
Take a couple deep breaths. Understand, hey, wait a second. You know, I just went through, this is pretty stressful. Because you know what happens to us is like we're like that frog in a boiling pot, right?
Right?
You don't you don't realize
you don't know you're on fire until you're on fire.
Right. And so I think wearables I actually think they're valuable. I think that your attitude towards them creates the real value, meaning that don't make it dictate your life. Don't get freaked out about numbers, because that's what a lot of people are doing. They're like, oh my God, I got to do something.
Oh, I had a patient come in there. There's like, I think I need to get an EKG because my watch is telling me I'm tachycardic.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the EKG is not going to tell you much, but let's talk about that. Sympathetic dominance.
Yeah, no, I think that's where it's valued. And I think the other thing is what's accurate and what isn't.
Yeah. Well, then she was stressing out looking at it all the time.
Yeah. That's even better, right? I mean, that's the antithesis of what people should be doing. They should be saying, this is more information for me to guide a healthy life. Now, if we were living in Sardinia in a blue zone, we wouldn't have to worry about that.
Probably need to wear any wearables.
No, I doubt it. Yeah.
Well, we're constantly being chased by a tiger, right?
Oh yeah, I mean just traffic, just traffic lights,
exactly.
just all of it.
Our nervous systems are so revved up. Yeah, exactly. Our nervous systems are so revved up just with life, and it is good information. If you were going to just give wearable advice, what are good things to pay attention to that are basic?
Sure.
And things not to get too wrapped up in.
Well, I think the number one thing is what's your resting heart rate?
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much evidence that once your resting heart rate's getting up in the 70s, you're clearly, when we say sympathetic dominant, you're stress driven.
Yep.
So you're making too much adrenaline. That creates a pro-inflammatory immune system when you're making too much adrenaline. So being stressed out is not good for your immune system. So resting heart rate's pretty important. And most of the devices nowadays get that pretty good. I mean, this is accurate. I compare this to a wearable, to a ring, to a band.
It's all pretty
and it's all
consistent.
fairly consistent on them. I think heart rate recovery is really important. And look, these are things that are validated to say, look, number one killer is still heart disease.
Right.
Number one killer is still cardiometabolic dysfunction. And a lot of the deaths related to cardiometabolic dysfunction are autonomic nervous system meaning your nervous system is out of whack.
Right.
And now your brain's not telling your heart how to beat.
Right.
We just, threw an MI. So you go ahead.
Well, I just want to break down a little bit at a time, because this is going to be, people are going to want to know these things. So on the resting heart rate, if explain what a resting heart rate is.
So ideally, you're getting your heart rate first thing in the morning before you get out of bed.
Okay.
If you can get that. If not, right after you get out of bed. And your resting heart rate is basically where your body is at under no duress. Like, where am I at baseline?
Okay.
And, like right now.
And what's a good range?
Well, a good range. Look, if you're super fit,
50s, 40s even.
I'm at 56 right now. I'm super excited.
Yeah.
But I run in the mid high 40s usually. It's pretty good. It's really good. But if you can be anywhere below 62.
If you're fit,
well,
40s is good.
Right. Yeah. Otherwise you could have bradycardia.
Yeah. Okay.
Not good. But if you're working towards it, it's a good thing. So really between 50s and low 60s is ideal. I mean, if you're in the upper 60s, the range on the risk kind of isn't that significant. But once you start getting up in the 70s and the 80s,
and that's your resting
heart rate. I mean, I had someone yesterday where we were doing an appointment with, and his resting heart rate's in the 80s. And a fit guy.
It's a heart attack waiting to happen.
Exactly, especially when you looked at his lipid profile.
And these are the guys that have heart attacks no matter what their calcium score says.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, because there's a fair amount of people that have heart attacks that have zero calcium score.
Squeaky clean arteries, which is a fallacy. A lot of guys think.
Right.
I know one in particular I'm very close to. Thinks that squeaky clean arteries are licensed to live life however.
Wow. Yeah.
It's not smart.
Yep. So
heart rate variability.
So there's heart rate variability. The other one is if you do exercise, stop your exercise, sit. How much does your heart rate go down in 1 minute and 2 minutes? And if you're wearing a wearable, they'll have that calculated for you. That's important too, because that's showing you, how well does your body respond after stress? Like, does it go back to attempting baseline, right? And so you want to go down at 12 beats per minute,
okay,
minimum. And that's just showing you I'm going from an excited state. How quickly do I go back to a
So I'm on the treadmill. My heart rate's 130. In a minute, it should be down to 115.
Yeah. Exactly.
And then another 15.
Yeah, that's great if you get 15. Yeah. That's fantastic. So that's important. Heart rate variability, that's the one that I don't think you get a great heart rate variability reading unless you're wearing a strap. I'm pretty disappointed in what the watches were doing, because I actually researched this for me personally, because I'm looking at my training, I'm looking at my heart rate, my 2-minute heart rate recovery, but the HRVs just not adding up, right? So I'm thinking, well, something.
So tell everybody why heart rate variability is important.
Yeah, so heart rate variability is a sign. So you've got something called the vagus nerve. And then you have something called vagal tone. And what this is about is the ability of your body to respond to stress appropriately and then have what's called a vagal break, like turn off the stress that's being generated in your brain.
And see what happens.
Heart rate variability is your heart doesn't beat like a metronome. It's not perfect. There's a little bit of variability to it if it's healthy.
Yeah.
So measuring your heart rate variability is saying, well, how healthy is the signal from my brain and the rhythm to my heart? And so HRV, the higher the HRV in general, and it's also age associated.
Sure.
The older you get, it's not going to be the same as when you were 20. But HRV is another important marker that it's a little more advanced, but it's just a marker of, am I exercising? Am I is my nervous system in balance? 'Cause
Right.
I've got two different sides to my nervous system.
Right.
And that's where the real value is on it. And, I think those are the key things to learn from.
So if for our listeners, if they have a wearable and now they know what to look for, let's say, because this is what we normally see, is somebody with a resting heart rate in the 70s and 80s. And then they wonder why they can't go get on the treadmill and work out because their heart rate gets to 140 and then they get dizzy and they have to get off. So they're sympathetic dominant probably, which means they're under a lot of stress. This is the best analogy. You said it one time. It's like when you are sitting in your car and you barely have your foot on the gas and it's just like, it's just revved up. You're revving up your engine constantly.
Yes.
So what can that person do to start to regulate that? What's a daily, what can they start doing?
Great things that you could do. And I do want to add just one more thing. Sleep numbers are kind of good too. Because you can tell if you're drinking those 2 glasses of wine at night, is it hurting your REM and hurting your deep sleep or not?
That's
so
good.
I failed to mention like that. The sleep data I think is valuable because I'll give myself I'm going to open up my personal self here on it.
I will too.
Okay, here we go. So I've been looking at sleep data more since wearing this because it's pretty accurate. And what I find is, because Terri, I'm flying, I'm lecturing.
All over the place.
I have a very hectic schedule. And so I don't always get the chance of, hey, I'm going to sleep 8 hours.
Yeah, or sleep in your same bed in your comfortable place.
All that, right? But what I found was, because of all the years, and this is what I'm going to get to on what to do, I really make it a ritual to manage my stress each day. I just do it because I learned a long time ago, like actually 40 years ago, because I was a hot-headed Italian, very sympathetic dominant, I had to learn. And it turns out when I start looking at my sleep data, my efficiency's off the roof, meaning that even if I only get to sleep 6 hours on a night, which I really don't prefer, I'd rather when I get to 7, that's my magic number. My efficiency of sleep, I'm still getting 2.5 hours of deep sleep, an hour and a half of REM sleep out of that 6 hours. And so I feel pretty good. Now, I don't want to do that every day, all day, but I think you can train your body by managing that stress response. And I think it has a lot to play into how you're sleeping at night, obviously, because sleep problems are a disorder of hyperarousal. So what can you do? Well, the first one is try to regulate what time you're going to bed. That helps. If you can try to get to bed by 10 at the latest, pretty good. Now, I know people are going to go, yeah, but that's my me time, and I'm only going to do it I'm going to go to bed at 11. Okay. But I'm just saying that trying to get bed by 10 helps you out. That way, if you have to get started in the morning, because let's face it, when you're working at night, you already got a 12-hour day, and your efficiency's going way down. Yeah. Just start in the morning. It allows you to have a fresher start. So try to regulate and get consistency of your awake time and your sleep time. What time am I going to bed? That's easy.
And tell me, you're going to say when you're in bed, paying attention to the stimulus just because you're in bed doesn't mean you're easing into melatonin production and all that.
So that's the other piece of, well, what do you do for managing that sleep side? Like a lot of people they don't make melatonin, so they're going to stay awake, or they wake up in the middle of the night. And so, taking melatonin can be a great solution to try to retrain your body how to get into deep sleep. I take melatonin. I love it. I think it's got
there's an age-related decline, so as we get older, we need to anyway.
Oh, thank you for that.
Yes.
Really appreciate that.
Like every other hormone.
Yeah. Oh, even better.
Yeah.
I'm feeling so good about myself now.
Yes. You're a Spartan. You're fine.
So
But light stimulus, like TV, scrolling.
Oh, no, you got the blue screen
worst.
thing. Yeah. You got your phone in bed. You got TV on. You really want to try and cut that stuff down, dim the lights, quiet the night leading into your bed. Even if you could just do that for an hour, right, before. Just be realistic, right? don't turn on every light in the house at night.
Yeah.
That's the other one people do. That the light. You walk into somebody's house at night. It's like, wow, my God!
I'm in Vegas.
Yeah, exactly. You want to avoid that. And then the biggest thing that I do is try to get people to understand that there's the one thing that you can do. The one thing: manage your stress response during the day.
Yeah.
Understand what's jacking you up.
Yep.
And then work towards trying to manage that. And there's a couple ways to do it. If you're perseverating, you're feeling overcommitted, and it's just like, I don't know how to control this.
Perseverating to me is your brain like.
Exactly. I'm making a list for the list for the list for the list. There are great natural compounds that help people to calm their nervous system down.
My favorite.
Yeah. I love Relora. I love
Quicalm,
theanine.
everyone. Quicalm.
Quicalm is, I gotta admit, one of the. I mean, I've designed hundreds of products. That's probably in my top 3.
But it is the top selling supplement in my clinic.
Yeah.
Because we're all so stressed out.
Right.
And it just brings that down.
And you're not gonna. The thing about it is, nobody can just get on a mountain and meditate all day in our culture.
No.
We got kids that are going to dance class and soccer and football, and maybe they need a tutor.
Yeah.
And maybe we're a single parent, so there's the stresses of that, right? Work, emails, text, there's all this stuff. And so I really encourage people to take something that manages their stress during the day so it helps them to ease into the night. And I'm really big on, just do 3 minutes of box breathing.
Yeah.
Do it at noon. Do it at noon. Take a few seconds, just a couple minutes, and unload that stress. Mm-hmm. And do it again when you get home from work, and do it again when you're getting in bed.
Yeah.
Because it actually resets the nervous system. And that's why, why do I think, just to round this out, why do I think wearables have value? It's because it helps you to take action and actually establish, what should I do to correct it?
It's information.
Yeah, not just, oh my God, it's off.
Yeah.
That I think is, where we get into trouble with it. It's information, guides me in the right direction, and obviously the nervous system is at the center of the value of, I think, for wearables, both under stress, exercise, and at rest.
And box breathing, 4 seconds in, hold for 4 seconds, 4 second out, exhale, correct?
Absolutely.
To let everybody know.
And then when you're exhaling, you're letting go of the stress that your brain was thinking of.
And you're visualizing
visualizing it leaving. I used to think of it as a spigot.
Oh, nice.
I literally would say, I would, because I've done this now for about 40 years, because I first, I started doing it, is I think of a spigot being turned on, and I'm literally watching like a water tank. It's
empty.
Flowing out of me, and I'm feeling empty. Everybody has a different visual, right? But to be grateful for something afterwards. We're so fortunate, most of us, even those of us that are stressed out. We're very fortunate and blessed in a lot of ways,
100%.
right? Yeah, and we think we need to keep our eye on that
and have gratitude for that and enjoy it. Yeah. Oh, I love that. Okay, so wearables, good. Now I'm gonna have to go get me another wearable. Hey, but I'll tell you, I got a Sleep Number bed, and I'm not getting paid by them to plug, but dang, that thing's amazing.
Sleep Numbers are pretty cool.
And it tracks your sleep with your heart rate, how much were you restless. I don't know how accurate it is. So now I want to get a wearable and just see if it's the data tracks.
I got you hooked again.
Yeah, I know you did.
You know why I did it? Because you're like a data queen.
I am. Okay, so this is, I'll be honest, the reason why I quit wearing them is because I got all up in arms about somebody is taking my data.
Well, they're taking your data.
They're taking it anyway. That's what everybody said. That's what it's like. They're getting it anyway. So,
I mean, it doesn't matter.
But can't I make it a little harder for them to get it? Come on. Well, now they're getting it on my Sleep Number bed. So.
Yeah, now you're giving it up anyway.
All right.
I honestly, I think great information that's, we're going to be able to get blood values off these things soon.
Oh, there's
a lot of cool things that are happening.
How accurate are the EKGs, you think?
This one's fairly validated. This is the Whoop 5.0 that has all that kind of complex. I think just like the portable finger, they're getting pretty accurate.
Yeah.
It's not medical grade.
Yeah, because you can't
it's not
read
a 12 lead EKG.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on,
that's what.
But if it would show you that, hey, there might be something there.
Yeah.
Then I think it's got value. But you certainly can't make, as a consumer, like, oh my gosh, I've got a sinus arrhythmia. Yeah. And I'm going to start, I'm going to start, watching that. But if it warns you and then you go to a provider and then a provider can help you make good decisions about that, then I think it's great.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
So let's talk now. I have not heard of this one. Do you want the Young Blood?
Young Blood.
What is that? That's a new one. Young blood plasma transfusions. Oh, wait. Is this plasmapheresis?
Yeah, this is kind of plasmapheresis.
Okay. I do know about this because I had a cardiologist on that has a machine that's
But there's people that are kind of like taking the blood of their children and making.
Oh my heavens! I wouldn't want the blood of any of my children.
Exactly.
I'm way healthier than they are.
Yeah,
sorry, kids.
I think plasmapheresis is a incredible therapy. I think that, like anything, there is risk.
Sure.
You should recognize the risk, but at the same time, if it's purifying your blood, you're filtering out gunk. Yeah. Right. Basically, you're filtering out waste proteins and immune compounds and all that kind of stuff. Once again, it's pretty early on.
Very early.
Yeah, and I everybody's running to it. Now, and I'm a fan. I'm not going to say because I know people that have gotten tremendous benefit quickly through doing plasmapheresis. So I'm
especially long haulers for sure. COVID long haulers for sure. And then there's some information about the whole. Now the other thing we got to talk about, this leads into it a little bit, is this microplastics conversation. But apparently it can filter off all these microplastics.
Right. Yeah. So I think that's where the value that's interesting is. Does it cross the blood-brain barrier? There's some evidence that it might help with the ApoE34 people, and Alzheimer's, dementia folks, right? So I think fantastic. If you were really healthy, say you're healthy and you feel great, are you going to go do it preventatively?
Well, I think probably, I don't know how often, once or twice a year maybe, but because I think that no matter how healthy we are, we live in such a toxic planet. Like we got to be building up gunk, but maybe not. I don't know. What about all the years before I was not healthy?
Well, I think.
I don't know. It's a good question.
I'll give you my opinion. I think I would do it preventatively.
Like once or twice a year?
Once or twice a year. Yeah. Mainly because there's some things we know, right? Like like the glymphatic system, right? Yeah. The glial lymphatic system. It's supposed to clean out all this stuff out of the byproducts of brain metabolism. There's toxicity.
Right.
The only thing when people think that it clears out all the toxicity, it's not filtering your bone marrow. It's not filtering the myelin sheath. You still need to go through understanding what intoxication you have to pull it out of your tissues. But it does help unload kind of all that immunologic drive and burden, right? So I think...
Because, it's just in your serum, but what are we doing to support our own body's beautiful filtration systems that are already there?
That's my point. Let's not put another Band-Aid on a bullet hole.
Yeah.
And that's my biggest concern on it is people think that, oh, wow, this is filtering it out and that's taking care of it. I know with all my history, starting off in Cincinnati, all the breast cancer cases, because I have a lot of oncologists referring people to our institution, where we had docs and nurses and all that good stuff. But I was big on the research side. And look, we do a toxic metal urine on those folks. They got high platinum levels. It's in their bone. And you can read on it. You can read on cisplatin. Where does it go? Well, it distributes into the bone and bone marrow. And then so let's not look at plasmapheresis as a be-all, end-all, but part of the journey of becoming well and kind of an advanced journey. stem cells, exosomes.
I do
Not
exosomes.
on the list.
It's not. I just was going to say that.
Not on the list.
I do IV every month.
Yeah.
Once a month.
I think that there's a lot of value as long as you know you're getting clean.
Good, clean. Yes. Very
compounds,
particular
because I
about
think that's the one that, is still variable, right?
Yeah, there's definitely been more, a lot in that world with FDA getting into those labs and really creating standards. And so it's weeded out a lot of the mom and pops that were maybe not creating clean products. So it's better. But
I'm excited about what the FDA is doing on it, actually.
Yeah.
I just wrote an article for Experience Life on stem cells.
Yes.
The regulation on that, I hope, is actually fairly rigid.
It's a big HHS agenda.
Right.
I had a great privilege to have some conversations a month or so ago.
Oh, great.
And exosomes and stem cells is a big area of interest for that department. And I think one of the things too is just there's so much clear benefit, and why do you have to be, uber rich or fly to Costa Rica? It doesn't even make any sense. So I think there's going to be a lot of movement in that area.
Yeah, obviously Florida opened them up, right? And you've got, I think Texas is on the way to opening
Texas is on the way to opening up.
Yeah, there's a few other states. So I think it's invaluable.
Yeah.
I'm surprised
I know. It's not as accessible, but also it is AI. But the other thing too is I think the things that came up on our AI search of the top 10 trending longevity hacks is more about what can people try to do on their own. Right. Obviously, it's hard. Number one, it's very hard to find a clinician that does exosomes or stem cells. And shoot, I couldn't even say the word. You can't even say the word exosomes hardly. You sure can't market them. That's correct. So patients that want it really kind of don't know where to go because the FDA doesn't allow you to market or even talk about. You can't even put the word exosome on your website. Right. You have to say mesenchymal. It's this long word that is approved that nobody knows what it means. So that's part of the biggest problem is people don't know where to go.
Mesenchymal derived cell culture.
Yes, something like that.
But you know what? Probably one of the best longevity hacks out there.
Yeah. 100%.
You know what I mean?
I agree. Listen, I can't tell you how many even just exosomes in knees. I'll just tell my mother-in-law's story. Just she was told she needed bilateral knee replacement. And, because she was having so much pain walking up and down her stairs. Now she's 84 now. And this was about 5 years ago. And we talked her into coming to our clinic and getting her knees injected. And about 3 weeks after her first knee injection, she goes, I don't know if this is that placebo thing or not, but I'm sure not hurt when I walk up the stairs. And so 12 weeks later, because we always tell people, give it 12 weeks. Sure. Did another injection. And to this day, she gets them now once a year and has no knee replacement, no pain, feels great.
Think of quality of life, though.
Quality of life.
Amazing.
It's amazing. So they have a lot of utility.
Personally, had a pretty good meniscus tear. Yep. And did PRP. Yep. Did exosomes. And you know what?
Shot all kinds of peptides.
You name it, man. I was
Copper,
all over that knee. And, but, now 3-4 years later now, I'm running on a treadmill. I'm squatting. I'm doing all the things I need to do.
Yeah, it's
staying
amazing.
Intact. And, I think if the repair process on that to me is one of the top longevity hacks. Now, I don't know about doing them intrathecally like I've seen online. Yeah. Let's go right into the brain with it. A little risky. So once again, this world of biohacking, it's such a big dynamic thing of what people are doing, So, what are we on to next?
Well, We've dropped the conversation about centarians a lot and blue zones. And really, honestly, if we could all just live this way, we wouldn't need all these biohacks, truthfully. But let's, so you talked about Laura and her research on the blue zone diet. Let's talk about that because that's trending. What is a blue zone diet? Well, it depends on are you in Japan? Are you in Sardinia? Are you, where are you? That's your diet.
It's different in all those areas, right?
Yeah.
Icarus, Greece.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got, all these different areas.
I choose Greece and Sardinia personally, just because I like that food.
Second that.
And
all day
beautiful
long.
Islands.
All that.
Water, breathing, meditation. I don't need to box breathe there.
Yeah, right. But that's the reality is that, I think it's funny that we're trying to find the magic way to eat. Now, at least what I found working with lots of people over the years is we're forced into creating diets that countermeasure inflammation.
Right.
So, I don't like to have to limit what people get to eat or our dietitians and everything we've written. I mean, we've written hundreds and hundreds of diets and recipes and programs for people.
I use yours.
Yeah.
But anti-inflammatory diet.
Yeah, but it's because we have to do those things because people have a broken down gut, and they have a broken down gut for a bunch of reasons. It's medication, it's stress, it's glyphosate, it's it's lack of sleep, it's all this stuff, right? Yeah, multiple reasons why that gut microbiome breaks down and the mucosal barrier breaks down. And so now we've got this, if you just eat this way, you're going to live long. So then you get everybody with a theosophy over it, like a theologic, religious,
becomes a religion,
about their food. Now, I understand if it's truly religious,
sure, absolutely,
truly religious. I respect that.
Right.
I don't try to convince anybody out of that.
Right.
But I have people that hang on to, paleo is the only way to go.
Yeah.
No, it's not paleo, it's vegan. No, it's not vegan, it's low fat, it's low carb,
What's
it's
vegan?
low carb FODMAP. Yeah, pescatarian, vegan. Vegan.
Okay.
I got every term. You just got to understand. I got all the words.
You threw me there.
I got all the
Vegan.
words.
That's a new one. They eat peas? I don't know. What's that?
Vegans, they only eat peas.
They only eat peas. Peas are packed with protein. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So to me, the first step is, why are you doing the diet?
Yeah.
What diet are you choosing? Like carnivore diet now, right? Wow. Carnivore diet. Lots of circulating endotoxin over time when you do that one.
No, how can you reconcile our friend? I just don't like the advice.
Yeah.
It's not for everybody.
I just let the labs rule.
Yeah.
It'll show up. I mean, even if you're eating a Mediterranean diet, which is really, if you think about data across the world, if you were going to apply a diet.
Absolutely.
And you lived in the Mediterranean.
Yes.
You could eat that Mediterranean diet. Our problem here is we've got a lot of people that are insulin resistant, a lot of people that are already diabetic, a lot of people that have a lot of pro-inflammatory chemistry. Their gut's broken down. They're reacting to dairy. They're reacting to gluten. They're reacting to almonds.
Yeah.
Heck, they're reacting to the avocado and the guac that they're eating.
Right.
So you got to repair.
Yep.
And what we've been passionate about throughout all the clinics that I've been involved with is, because I think I drive this culture, is let's get people to where they just understand what's good for them to eat. How do you feel good and maintain your weight and not have your blood chemistry go crazy? How do you need to eat? Take them on a journey.
Yeah.
I call it a lifestyle of eating, not a diet. Right. I don't even like the word diet, but I have to start somewhere with people to get them to understand, they got to probably be on a, modified low carb, anti-inflammatory, low allergen diet initially to kind of calm down the gut, repair the gut, get them thinking, how is your body doing with this? How do you feel? Are you bloated? Do you notice water retention? 4 pounds of water gain between morning and night. Yeah. You gain 4 pounds of water between morning and night.
Well, you know what I found is interesting, and this could be mostly just in women, but intuitively we know. We know.
Yeah, men are kind of too simple. We don't always know.
You
It's
don't
like,
always pay attention, but
there's no way that nachos caused me to have gas.
Exactly. It's
like,
good for me.
It's good for me.
But I think intuitively, we know what foods make us feel good and what foods bring us down and make us feel tired. That's information. I know I love Thai food, but I know if I eat Thai food, I'm down for 3 days. Wow. Because it is so inflammatory. The spice, I suppose, is so inflammatory.
That's good knowledge. I mean, I have that same situation. I have a couple things. One, when I say
down, I mean just like stomach pain. Right. You don't feel right. Yeah, you just like.
The difference with you is, so you know that, and then you act on it. And occasionally you might say, heck with it, I'm going to have it anyway.
Well, I will say, since I repaired my gut and worked on it for many years, I can now dabble in it and not feel as bad.
Right.
Because I've repaired my gut and exactly. The histamine response is lower.
Right.
But it feels like a histamine response.
Yeah. Well, it probably is.
Yeah.
Right. And along with other inflammatory compounds.
Yeah.
And I know in my case, I'm an ApoE3/4, and that means, which for those people out there, that's a apolipoprotein. Mm-hmm. It's a category of genetics that if you have these genes, you're more prone for heart disease, more prone for dementia, in particular.
Yeah,
and so I have to watch my saturated fat. Mm-hmm. I don't get any of the fun. I have to watch my saturated fat. I have to watch my alcohol intake. I have to watch my sugar intake.
Sucks to be you.
And I'm not going to tell you that I'm perfect, but I do have to follow those guidelines. And then I have to layer that because, I had a dairy allergy from the time I was born and nobody picked up on. So I'm Italian, okay?
Yeah.
And these plant-based cheeses, they do not taste.
They're not right.
All that great.
Something's not right about that.
I use them because I have to, just to keep my sanity on how bad I miss cheese. But the reality is, and then if they're high in coconut oil, they're high in sat fat, and I can't do them anyway. So I think people still make those choices because it sets off endorphins in their brain, and they're getting their dopamine reward. Like they know I shouldn't eat this last cookie, but my brain is saying, you eat that cookie, even though you already feel poorly. So I always associate with, let's get your stress right, get your mind right, and let's take you on a journey of food, because the blue zone diet, let's face it, there isn't a blue zone diet. There just isn't.
There's the blue zones and the way they eat.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the Okinawans, they eat a lot of pork.
Right.
You look at in Loma Linda, they eat no meat.
But I think the thing that people, I read this book called, I'm not going to mess it up, but it was all about the centurions in the different parts of the world.
Right.
Ikigai. EICHIGI. And they all had the same 5 things in common. They grew their food.
Correct.
They moved their body every day.
Right.
They had community. They had meals with family, friends.
Yeah. They discussed their daily stress at lunch and got rid of it.
100%.
Right?
And they all drank some sort of form of green tea or something high in antioxidant polyphenols.
Yeah.
And then the number one thing is they all had a purpose, no matter their age. Even if it was being a crossing guard and the joy they brought into it. Those were the 5 things. So it wasn't really about their diet, although that was part of it. None of them ate processed foods. Right?
Yeah. No, I mean that's absolutely the importance. Social relevance as you're aging.
Yeah.
So important. Like I think we lose out so much when I mean honestly, it's weird. At 64, I didn't think about this stuff. At 65, turning 65 this year, I just started thinking about these things that, I'm getting to that age where people are going to go, yeah, but he's one of those older guys. What's he really know? And I think of all the people that were, and I'm not putting myself in this class, but were brilliant at their work. Mm-hmm. And we all of a sudden think because they're a certain age, we shouldn't
no longer
listen to
relevant.
them. They're not relevant. Yeah. We don't need to think about how we can learn from them. I just think that's a big miss in our culture.
Absolutely.
And I think that we we could just get so much learning from people that have spent their lifetime. I think of it that way now.
Yeah.
I mean, I have 40 years in integrative care.
Right.
I have written lots of books, thousands of hours of lectures, and I've had the opportunity to meet brilliant people and learn from them. We need to tap into those kind of folks, you know. And I'm once again, it's out of all sincerity. I'm not saying, oh, I'm amazing. I'm just saying that I know there's a body of work for me that people can learn from.
100%.
And I think there's a lot of other people out there that you start going, but shouldn't you be retiring? You know, that kind of stuff.
No, never. Retirement. What's the stats of how quickly people die after retirement?
I saw it all the time. In our institute in Ohio, we had a lot of P&G executives. And, they get the golden parachute. Yeah. They're in their mid-50s. They're the ones having the MIs because they're out golfing every day and they're not having any more purpose. Yeah. And I've committed. I mean, I'll be doing stuff.
Same. I'm
doing stuff all the way through life.
There's no really such thing to me as retirement. And the flip side of that too is you're talking about people, whether they're in a profession or just even, with age comes wisdom, and how many we just aren't, our culture doesn't appreciate that in all of these centenarian cultures. Right. The elder had the wisdom and sat around with the children and passed that on. And now what do we have? The elder that has the wisdom, but that's so gorked out on all 20 medications they're on for all their chronic diseases, they can't impart that wisdom to, and we don't really want grandma around my kids because she's weird. So let's put her in, a memory care home where she just wastes away. It's terrible what we do to our
younger generation's got grandma chat GPT as if it's accurate. That's true. Right. I mean, once again, I would say the other big thing on longevity is everybody's going to something like, AI, which is good. I love AI, kind of.
It's a double-edged sword.
It really is.
We talked about this. That's the longevity, the double-edged sword of longevity, but that's a double-edged sword.
That's exactly it. It's the same thing because where are you pulling the information from? Is it curated information? It's just going out there.
Or is it fed information that they want you to know? Man. I mean, I think there's
can be another tool behind you.
Yes.
They're looking right at you.
Exactly. It's a little creepy. It's very creepy. All right, let's get into the fun stuff.
Sure.
Well, it's all been fun, but let's talk about what are senolytics. I can't even believe senolytics are trending. Like, how did anybody know that word? I thought that was a special word that only our circles
only
used.
We know, right?
I'm glad it's getting out there, but a lot of people may not realize that it's quercetin, things like that. But talk about senolytics. What are they? Because a lot of people are into them. They don't really realize they're into them because they didn't know what that label was.
Yeah, so senolytics are helping us to reprogram our cells and get rid of what's called zombie cells, right? We're trying to protect against uncontrolled inflammation. And basically, you've got a couple times in your life where that really accelerates. If all things go well, mid-40s, early 60s, and Stanford did a big study on that, right? Where age isn't necessarily linear. Yeah. And I look at aging as a disease anyway. I mean, you know, I really think that, be healthy as long as you can. But so our body starts to get these cells that start to trigger uncontrolled inflammation signaling. Called zombie cells. How come zombie cells didn't come up? That's a much cooler name.
That is.
Like
we're gonna combine
is that
zombie
with a
cells.
C?
No, S.
I know.
S.
I know. But anyway, so you take senolytics. Now, once again, what are we doing? We're trying to clean up all the time. Now, the good thing I'll say about the senolytic information that's out there is that people know they should be doing it cyclically. That you don't do, like senolytic compounds.
All the time.
Even one of the biggest ones in our circle, rapamycin, right? Rapamycin, typically a, big, powerful drug, but they found out that in small doses, it really kind of helped to reprogram cells. And remember we had that one doc that was in that she had hearing loss.
Yep.
And we were teaching on, the use of rapamycin. And she came back at the next event and said, I don't have hearing loss or buzzing in my ear anymore.
Isn't that amazing?
And I thought that was pretty amazing, right? So I think, there's some real value to the Senolytics. I think, once again, it's about application.
Right.
It's about, well, do you need them?
Yeah.
Are you pushing out a lot of inflammatory chemistry? What age and stage are you at? It's kind of like that mitochondrial story with the NAD, and using that is if you're really into like biohacking, then maybe look at scheduling. Like, when do I do what? Like almost a seasonality.
Yeah.
How we talk about seasonal eating, right?
Right.
Let's talk about
seasonal
biohacking.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
I really think that there's something to that, you put a plan together, but you don't get obsessed with it. And look, even biological age testing.
Yeah, I was going to wonder when that was going to come up. You used to like it. Are you kind of on the fence now?
No,
and that's just for everybody. It tests your chronological age against your biological age, which most people are biologically older than their chronological age.
Right. I like it. I think the Dundon age is probably, the pace of aging is probably that ends up being the most accurate right now. They're continually refining those models.
It's relatively new
science. The biggest issue I have with it, I just had this happen where somebody tested pretty good on their biological age, but they're in full-blown autoimmunity. So
how does that work?
Right. Yeah. That's my point. I don't know how that works, because I think there's value in biological age testing, and I think it's going to continue to happen. I think there's a lot of great new labs testing going on with epigenetics and looking at biological markers that might show that your brain's heading towards, cognitive decline, right? All that stuff is awesome. I love it, and doing research in that area. But I wouldn't get this is what happens. People get freaked out. They just like, oh my God, it says I'm 66 and I'm 64. Right. That's where, hey, you should be using that as a tool. Does it tell you things that's going to help you?
Yeah. Does it give you information on how to reverse that?
Yeah. Real
that's
simple.
Key. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing I've done, which is pretty cool, is the retinal scan.
Yeah.
So I've been doing the retinal camera for biological age testing, which is actually pretty cool.
Accurate.
Yeah. And I think that any tool that says, bottom line for me, I'm always looking for what tests can I do that tells me your rate of inflammation signaling,
inflammatory burden. Yeah.
Because that's what
boils down to that.
Yeah. And so if it's an eye scan, great. If it's a biological age test, great. If it's a blood pressure, if it's a heart rate
variability,
right? It doesn't have to be a blood test.
Right.
But I'm always looking for that, and I think we're going to continue to refine that biological age, and I think we'll have better insights as now that we're focusing on how to correct it.
So some of the senolytics to kind of combat these zombie cells, what are some of the more popular ones? And
dihydroquercetin's big, fisetin is big, dastanib is big.
Where are people getting these things?
Well,
all over the place.
All over the place. And, I'll give, I think that Amazon got so beat up because their quality control was so bad that now they're in a very reflexive posture on like third-party testing and quality control. So I think it's eventually, even though I still go by the fact that, if you're going to come sit down and work on someone, and I don't think a lot of times people understand that, you spend a lot of money learning these things.
Yeah.
You spend a lot of money to have an office environment that, you can do all this testing. That I don't think it's negative if you're supplying products that you can trust so that you can guarantee
100%.
Hey, I think this is the best best formulation, because in the end, I'm wanting you to get results.
Right.
Right. So, who do you call at Amazon when something's
exactly.
not working?
And that you bring up a really good point, because we've talked about this. We talk about this in our trainings too, is, the supplement industry in our country is not a regulated industry.
Not enough.
And so how do you know if what you're getting is good, And so that's why we choose companies that do test for mold, mycotoxins, third-party testing for. It has the ingredients at the doses it says on the label, which you can't get that from products typically.
You can't guarantee all that.
Yeah, you can't guarantee all that.
Look, it's 90 probably +% of the market. It just isn't there. I know that,
No, that's an accurate statistic.
Yeah.
90%. This study came out in 2022.
Oh, wow.
90% of new supplements on market either don't have the ingredients it says it has in it, or has been tested positive for mold and mycotoxins and other things.
Adulterated.
90%.
So that leads me to, it's no surprise. I mean, I for those of the people that don't know me that are listening in, I mean, I've designed products for a lot of
we use
companies.
So many of your products.
And we test, we do third-party testing and test for 510 adulterants and banned substances.
Breathe.
You know what that is? That was another cremation insurance call, because it said spam risk. I turned 65. I might start smoldering at any moment. God. I can start smoldering, and it's because I bought cremation insurance, and they're going to make sure that I start to smolder. It's crazy.
That's hilarious.
I can't help it.
We're talking about living forever, and you bought some cremation insurance. Yeah. Okay.
So 510 substances, label claim, active ingredient verification. Yeah. I mean, I've been doing that, since I started formulating products 25 years ago, because people deserve that. If they're going to buy something, they should buy something that they know is going to work. Now,
that's right.
While all dietary supplements are manufactured under food GMP, that's where the crux is the companies that take it farther and try to align themselves, not quite like drug GMP, but at a much higher level of accuracy, dependability, sustainability. All those things
Shelf
are
life,
important. And it's so if you're going to buy senolytics, fisetin, quercetin, other compounds like that, there's combination products out doing that. You just make sure that's coming from a quality source.
Yeah. Well, I need to talk about spermidine.
You do. Okay.
Is this just for men?
Oh my God. No, it's not. Good one though. Well, you guys do focus on hormones a lot. So, I mean.
But it's under this number 10, the 10th on the list was supplement overload, and talking about resveratrol, spermidine.
Other compounds.
Right. And we've kind of been talking about this all along,
Yeah, I mean, again, spermidine, another, longevity compound that shows it's reversing a lot of the meta-inflammatory signaling in the body and helping with, restoring a youthful signaling. Same thing with resveratrol. I mean,
resveratrol has been around for a long time and talked about for a long time.
I know, but I don't really use resveratrol.
Yeah, I don't either.
Because I never really saw anything happen when I gave it. So
we like ECCG. We like I mean, better.
It works.
Yeah.
I mean, pure, 98%, the stuff just works. And I think this still comes down to we're a marketing society.
Right.
If you think about it, if you went up online, I bet you could find a new compound or product launch every 60 minutes.
Yeah.
It's that companies just come out of the woodwork once something hits, and then there's 500 companies before you know it making something.
Not to mention all the influencers.
Right.
Do you get your medical advice from an influencer?
No. Get enthusiastic. Here's what I think. Get enthusiastic from an influencer, because they have a way of getting you excited about information. But then you have to when it's your health, find somebody you can work with that you trust, that has knowledge. I mean, here's another one that's kind of interesting is there's a lot of younger docs that are getting turned on to this, and they haven't even finished their residency yet. And I respect, people going through medical school, fantastic. I've taught at medical school like 20 years. I mean, I get it. It's valuable. But they're kind of jumping into this game before they've actually even worked on people.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you tell me something
you got to understand the basics of disease.
And not only that, you have to see what works.
Yeah.
Like what's working before I start talking about it.
Right.
Or taking information from somebody. Did I see it work?
Right.
And because that's what
100%.
I'm pretty. And I have to be honest, because I've had that stance. Pharmacists are kind of weird that way, or like prove it to me that it's going to work biochemically in the body.
Right. I'm kind of that way as a clinician. Yeah. Like I just need to see it.
It's like I just don't jump. You just don't jump on things. I've added things to the toolbox that we use in our facilities and also when I'm teaching, but not as much as I think a lot of folks do, or before you know it, they've got 800 things on their shelf. And I think it's just important that when you're going out, just to kind of round this back out, is when you're going out, try to find out where the experience level is of the person you're working with.
100%.
I think it's really important. Everybody starts out new at one point.
That's right.
And that's okay. You're going to learn. I know what I used to do is I would tell people, hey, you know what? I do not know. I'm going to research it, and I'm going to find a good answer for you. And then we're going to apply that, and we're going to see how it works. Yeah. And that's how you build on your knowledge base, right? But I kind of...
you have to be humble, enough to know you don't know everything. But it kind of takes us back to this conversation of this supplement overload or whatever it is, and I mean I've been
peptide overload,
everything overload, biohack overload, all of it. I mean I've fell prey to this as well. I mean when I first started listening to your lectures years and years ago, I would be listening to you and then I'd be on Amazon ordering. By the time your lecture was over, I had 10 new supplements.
That wasn't the intention of that.
And then it would last for about till those bottles were gone and like, it's too much. I don't feel any different.
Right. Well, no, that's it. Because it's what are you applying? What
I was throwing darts at a dartboard, seeing what sticks.
Yeah, exactly. and that's, once again, understand, because I think, look, I always say I never met a supplement, a peptide, or a natural hormone that I didn't like.
At least for a second.
But what I did find out was, but I can't do it all.
That's right.
Because it's not, one, it starts to weigh on you. Mm-hmm. I've come to this conclusion for me anyway, what works, and I think this is different for everyone, but I'm pretty good about taking stuff twice a day on the things that I know I need. Yeah. And sometimes I only need it. Some things are in the morning. Some things are twice a day. Melatonin is just at night. I'm not hammering melatonin all day long. But I'm pretty good that way, and that works for me. I'm still going to take a break. I'm still going to miss a dose.
But you're not going to die.
No, I'm not dying, and I'm okay with it. Yeah, I'm okay with it. And I think for people that it's important, that, establish your lifestyle of longevity. Don't forget all the things that you just said were the top 5 things in centenarian cultures. Yes. Had nothing to do with taking a pill.
That's right.
And yet we both know people need some pills because our world, our jungle, because I look at it that, we're affronted. Right. You talk about microplastics. You think about 90% of all the pesticides that are made. Yep. You start thinking about exposure. You can't avoid it. And you can't avoid it. And then you get a text from somebody. You can't tell whether they're mad or not. Right. But you assume they're mad because of the way it was read. Because they didn't give me a nice heart emoticon. Yeah, come on. But I'm just saying. It's true. I have to think about that, especially with people that I know might be more sensitive or, my kids or whatever. It's like, I can't just make a statement. I got to put a little smiley face, or something. Yeah. I'm happy when I'm telling you this. that's not making me happy,
so
but I'm happy. But I think that's, we've gotten to this place of reaching for longevity, just kind of, because everything we do in our culture for years, I'm not saying now, we're waking up now.
Yep.
It's awesome. Took away our longevity. And that 100%. Was evidenced in the fact that our average age of death dropped. Yep. So, the reflex response, I'm a big believer. I'm a Chinese medicine guy, that's how I did all my breathing. I had to do 15 years of doing Tai Chi in class to learn how to breathe. Learn how to breathe and keep it there, just natural.
Yeah.
But it's that counter swing, right? Where we haven't done enough, and so we feel really bad. Now we're going to do everything.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that what's going to happen is that we swing back in the middle and go, what are key things?
Yeah, back to basics.
What do we need to do for our health? If you're really bad off, you may need to be more aggressive initially, but at one point it's got to get back to, how do I live a lifestyle? And I got to tell you, the reason I took on the chief science officer position at Lifetime was their slogan.
Yeah.
The Healthy Way of Life Company. They really believe it. They really want to influence that.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a part of being able to, how can I bring in what I know to even help them fulfill that mission statement even more? And I think that's what's missing. It's like we've got this hype of live to 120, right? And can we just maybe get everybody to 85?
Yeah. Can we get the lifespan back up a little bit? Yeah.
Without being on 10 meds or 15.
Or 50 supplements, or stressing your body out with cold plunges and all the other things we've talked about today. Well, this is definitely going to be broken up into a few shows. So, but I loved it. What just last thing to round it out, I think we've talked about a lot, but if we're going to boil it down, and you just really kind of did, is if we could just boil it down to, if you could do one of 5 things to start truly shifting the longevity conversation. I know you're going to say sleep, number 1. Is that number 1?
My number 1 is be joyful and appreciate everything and everybody around you, actually.
That is number 1.
That's my number 1 thing.
Yeah.
People that I
so true.
And I had to learn about that.
Yeah.
But that is absolutely.
Well, just that there will help you sleep better.
You know what? It does.
It's everything.
Focus on joy. That's 1. And then manage the chaotic stress that we get because of all of the media, all of the traffic, all of the that we talked about, all the things
all
that
the
everybody
things.
say, all the things.
All the things.
Exactly. Manage that sympathetic stress. Like don't let that white tiger get a hold of you. Stare it back in the face and say, hey man, we can coexist.
We're all good.
We're all good. Time for you to go away so I can get a good night's sleep.
Yep.
I think you got to move. You got to move. It's a must. People don't move enough.
And it doesn't have to be crazy. Just take a walk.
Yeah, take a walk. And it doesn't have to be just, I did my 45 minutes in the gym.
Yeah.
Try to think about how you need to move during the course of your day.
Right.
We recently moved. We're on a bigger property now, and I have an office on that property and a gym. So now I'm even when I want to do anything, I'm walking back and forth a bunch, and I love it.
Yeah.
Park
far away, walk into the store, all the things.
So move, and preferably get some strength training in if you can, because we know that helps with longevity.
It's the currency of aging muscle.
Yes, exactly. And then there's 2 more, and I think this rounds it out really well for me. And when I think about joy, I also think about spirituality, by the way. Of course. So all that's connected with family, spirit, friends, all that. That encompasses all that.
Purpose.
And then it's learn how to eat, and don't let a diet take the joy of eating away.
Yeah.
I mean, I came from a father who was one of the most famous chefs in the world. I love food.
Mm-hmm.
I just learned how to make healthy food that I love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because breaking bread with your family is supposed to be, right? Think about any event you ever had where you had your family around, and if you put down a tofu loaf.
Yeah, no, it's not going to work. And it's going to make people angry.
Yeah, right. I wonder what the conversation's like versus, you have all this really healthy food, but it's good for you, but it tastes great. So learning that module is really important. And I know these are super just big, but these are the foundations.
They're simple,
and
though.
then the last one, this one's a little more, and I think, action item that you have to do. Get a blood test to start. Understand where you're at. Find someone that helps you identify the big levers that are keeping you back from that healthy, productive life that you want. And then you can move down that journey of advancing because you dig it. You want to do it. You love the longevity equation. You want to biohack. But find someone who's going to help you kind of keep the guardrails on it.
Yeah.
And explore maybe other methods of testing and all that. But at least start with a good solid lab that identifies the big problems that cause people to die young.
Yep. And what labs are those so everyone can go tell their clinician?
Yeah. I think you need, at least, and look, there's a lot of other tests, but I think you at least need a morning cortisol.
8 a.m.
Cortisol, definitely before 9 a.m.
And it should be not higher than?
Well, not higher than 16, 17, not lower than 10.
Yeah.
Right. So if it's too low, you're burned out.
Yeah.
If it's too high, you're jacked up.
10 to 15 is kind of my sweet spot.
It's good. Yeah, it's a good one.
Morning cortisol.
And so morning cortisol is super important. Glucose and insulin,
fasting.
For me, number one markers for aging.
Yep.
You want a fasting insulin of 5. You want a glucose, ideally between 74 and 84. Fasting.
Mm-hmm.
Those are super important. C-reactive protein.
Do them on every patient.
It's a biggie because you can find out all kinds of stuff from that. Marker of inflammation. Homocysteine.
Yep.
Super important. And then I do like kidney function. Mm-hmm. So what is your filtration rate? Because I always tell people, you're only as strong as your weakest organ. So everything could be good, but you'll end up in a dialysis center if you don't pay attention. And you can turn those kidneys around. So GFR is really important. Sex hormones, my gosh.
Of course.
Right? I mean,
it's the building
obvious.
block of everything.
Yeah, it's obvious. You got to have that. And then it starts to get into, for me, it's things like looking at, you have a CBC and you have a white blood cell count, and you look at kind of the differential within there, like where are your monocytes at? Where are your eosinophils at? Where are your basophils at? Where's your neutrophil to lymphocyte ratio? Nobody looks at that anymore. Yep. That's kind of important. Yep. It tells you whether your immune system's in an acute phase or it's worn out, right? So it then becomes like a lot of other labs have value, but I can tell you with a lot of confidence, if I know your cortisol, I know your glucose, I know your insulin, I know your CRP, I know your homocysteine, and I look at your sex hormones and I see your kidney function. And I could also say liver function maybe, but even
like chemistry panel will give you both of those.
Yeah, if I just have that stuff,
could fix a lot.
I could tell you whether you're in trouble or not.
Yeah.
And, I think that's where people should start, and don't be afraid of it.
Right.
Embrace the fact that you have an opportunity to change.
Yep. And understand not every clinician's going to really know how to read those.
You could get a book called Your Blood Never Lies. I know somebody that wrote that.
Yeah, it's a good one. Can you still get it?
Yeah, and I'm rewriting it.
Get it on Amazon.
I'm rewriting it right now. It's coming out here shortly. So that one's coming out.
Awesome.
The new metabolic code book is coming out with all of this stuff.
I think I bought the last copy because there was one left on Amazon, because I know you were getting ready to do another edition, so you weren't printing it out. Okay, so that's
coming out. And it goes through all of this.
Yeah.
Like everything we're kind of talking about, it's really getting an understanding of great balance.
Thank you so much. That was perfect. Love the conversation as always.
Always love coming on with you.
Hey, and one thing I wanted to say about, and I know part of that number one thing with joy, is purpose.
Yes.
Figure out your purpose.
Yeah. Well, you could take a deep breath on that.
Yeah.
I got tingles on that one, Terri.
Yeah. Purpose.
Wow.
It's everything.
That is. Yeah. I'm grateful for being here. And I'm also grateful that I found my purpose early in my life. And, it's been, I think it's terrific. So you're absolutely right on. It drives everything.
Drives everything. Thanks. Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Dr. Terri Show. You know, it is truly my heart's desire to help people to bring awareness to key issues affecting our health, both mentally, spiritually, physically, financially. So if today's episode was helpful to you, would you please share this podcast with others? This information is vital for helping our country heal and restore our health, and we would be honored if you would pass it along to your friends and family. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any content from the show, and if your life has been improved by the show, please leave us a review below. We would love to hear from you. See you next time.